Okay, so here's homework 8, part 2. And so the first thing I want to say, so we're on homework number 8, part 2. And starting off, questions 9, 10, 11, let me get those. Here we go. So questions 9, 10, and 11, I think those will be super easy for you. I'm not even going to bother with those. And then question number 12, I'm just going to skip it. So go ahead and skip number 12 in your homework. Don't worry about it, even though it tells you that you have a less than 100% on your homework grade. In the end of the semester, I will not count it against you. Just skip number 12. I don't like the way that question is worded. I don't think it's a good question. Let's go on to 13. So here's number 13. Ernie Rolfe borrowed $60.50 at 8% interest. Exactly 1 year later, he repaid it. Okay, so let me go to a fresh screen. Borrowed, what was it? $6,050 at 8%. At 8% for 1 year. And it says annual interest, so it's compounded. The money is compounded annually. And then how much interest is their question. Okay. How do we do this? Well, I need to give you a formula, a special formula for doing these. Here it is. Formula is A is P 1 plus R over N to the NT. So that's the formula for compound interest. Now let me explain the different parts. A is the amount later. It's the amount you have later. P is the principal now. It's the amount you put in the bank at first, or you borrow at first. And A is the amount it grows to be later. R is the rate, the interest rate. That's the 8%. N, there's two spots where we have N. N equals number of compoundings per year. Number of compoundings per year. So, for example, if they say semi-annually, like the money is compounded semi-annually, that's twice a year. If they say monthly, that would be 12 times a year. If they say quarterly, every quarter, that would be 4 times a year. If they say daily, that's N equals 365 times a year. And the last piece of the puzzle, T equals the number of years in that formula. Okay, so we have everything in this formula. So now let's solve this problem. It says that, so first off, the $6,050, that's how much they borrow. That's the principal. So the amount will be $6,050 times 1 plus, now the R is 8%. Got to change that to a decimal, 0.08 over N. This is compounded annually. Annually, I could have put that over there. Annually just means N is 1. That's just once a year. Like you have a birthday annually, or Christmas comes annually, once a year. Put a 1 there. 1, and then for N there, 2. And then the T is also 1 year. So those are both 1. So there's what you do. Now type that into your calculator. I'm going to type it into mine. And I get the amount I get from my calculator is 6534. So what does that mean? The person borrowed $6,050 at 8% for 1 year, and at the end of the year, he owes them $6,534. So what's their question? How much interest? So the interest then will be the difference, won't it? The interest will be the $6,534 minus the $6,050. If you subtract those, you get $484. That's the interest. Okay, so here we are. We're on number 14. Company will need $40,000 in 5 years. To meet this goal, the company deposits money at 4% annual interest compounded quarterly. Find the amount that should be invested to total $40,000 in 5 years. So we're using all these investment problems, interest problems. We use the same formula, A equals P, 1 plus R over N to the NT. So the $40,000 is actually the amount they want to have later in the 5 years. The P is what we're trying to find, the principal, right? Find the amount that should be invested now to total $40,000. That'll grow to become $40,000 in 5 years. 1 plus R. R is 4%, 0.04, over N. N quarterly means N is 4. They compound 4 times a year every quarter. N is also 4 right there. N's in 2 places. And T, how long is it? Oh, 5 years. 5 years. T is 5. So I would just make that power 20. 4 times 5 is 20. So then what do we get? If you use your calculator, you'll get 40,000 equals P. And then do this to the 20th on your calculator. So I'm going to do that. I'm getting 1.22019. And then how do you finish solving for P there? Divide by the 1.22019. 1.22019. Boom. So P equals, what am I getting? 32,781. 781. Round to the nearest dollar. So 781.77. That'll round to 782. 782. That's what they need to invest. Okay, so now number 15, I'm actually going to skip. That's exactly the same. That won't be any problem. Let's move on to 16, which is harder. So 16 says an amount of 2,000 was deposited at 8% compounded quarterly for 4 years, and then it was increased to 10% quarterly for the next 4 years. What's the balance at the end? So I'm going to rewrite this. So we have 2,000, 8% 4 years. 2,000 at 8% quarterly for 4 years. Did I do that right? 2,000, 8% quarterly for 4 years. Then, same thing, 10%. Then, 10% quarterly for 4 more years. And what's the balance at the end? Okay, so basically we're doing the formula twice. So we're going to do the A, P, 1 plus R over N to the NT. So put in the 2,000 first off. And then 1 plus R, 8%, 0.08, over N. Now what's N? Quarterly means N is 4. To the 4, and T is 4 years, so that's also 4. N and T are both 4. So that's a power of 16. So hit the buttons on your calculator there. I'm going to do it too. I'm getting 2,2745.57. So that's what it becomes after the first 4 years. Now we begin the second 4 years. Then we do 10% quarterly for 4 more years. So now we're going to do the same formula again. And we're going to take this number. That's going to be the new P. That's now we're starting with that as our investment. The second time times 1 plus R, what's the rate? 10%. Over N, what's N? Quarterly again, so it's quarterly, N is 4 again. And it's 4 more years. So this is 16 power again. So let's do that on a calculator again. I'm getting 4,075, like 82. So there we go. I think they said 4,075.81. I think they might have rounded wrong. So there we go. Okay, problem number 17. Basically, a New Age bank advertises 8.5% interest, compounded daily. And Pay More, it's a funny name, Pay More, not Pay Less, but Pay More, banks 11% monthly. Which is better? Which is better? Well, basically, here's the trick on this one. To figure out which of these is better, really a better deal, because, see, the difference, you might think right away, well, 11%, I mean, that's higher. What do you mean? What's the issue? Well, yeah, this is lower, but it's compounded more frequently. So it's 8.5%, which is lower, but it's compounded daily. Whereas this is 11% higher, but it's compounded only monthly. Turns out the 11% is going to still be better. When you compound more often, like daily, it helps a little, but not a lot. We'll see. And here's how we see. What I suggest is put $1 in each account and find what it becomes. So just put $1 in each account and find what it becomes. So here we go. A is P, 1 plus R over N to the NT. So for the first account, so I'm going to put in $1. The principal is $1. I'm just going to put in $1. Find out what happens to $1 in each account. The rate is 8.5%, so you got to move the decimal back 2 places. 0.085 over N. What is N? Now they're compounding daily. N is, whoops, 365. And that's 1 year, because they said exactly 1 year. So hit the buttons on your calculator. I'm going to do it too. I'm getting 1.0887, like that. So that means my $1 became $1.08. I guess it would round to $1.09, like that. So that's what would happen in the first account. Now the second account. Now we'll do the other one. So there's that one. Now the other one. Again, same formula. This is the compound interest formula. Now we're putting we're doing 11%. So we're putting, again, $1. Put $1 in this account also. The interest rate is 0.11, the other account. The N is 12 because it's compounded monthly. And the time is 1 year again. So put that in. I'm getting 1.1157. So that's better, isn't it? My $1, after 1 year, my $1 becomes $1.11. It'd really be almost $1.12. And in the other account, my dollar only became $1.08. So this is the better account. This pays more. And they're asking, so you'd choose Pay More, the Pay More one. The 11% is the Pay More. The Pay More is the 11%. That's the better one. And how many times greater? They say round to 3 places. So if you round this to 3 places, 1.12, right? Because this is the... Oh, wait, no, that's not right. 3 places out past decimal. You need to circle this. Look 1 to the right, 1.116. So 1.116. That's how many times greater, because $1 became $1.116. So that's how many times greater my dollar grew. And so there's the answer.